What's really good? We back again with a new episode. It's the Lindsay's. It's your boy, TJ Lindsay. I'm here with the author, humanitarian, beauty of the week, beauty of my life, Miss Tiana Lindsay. I give her a round of applause, y'all. No, but we got some good stuff to talk about, man. We just had a amazing book signing. Another book signing, second one at First Baptist Church in Mansfield, Ohio. Really warming experience to be around Pastor Jeff. Pastor Jeff is someone who coached me in basketball as a kid, and I've always been around him all my life. Really good man, and he allowed us to use his church for my baby's book signing, and it was a really good turnout. What was your favorite part about book signing number 2?
My favorite part, I would say, just being at Pastor Jeff's church, because, like you said, you've known him since you was a kid, and it's the same thing for me. So it's kind of like a full circle moment, like kind of like making the man of the neighborhood proud, So me and his daughter Danae, we were really good friends growing up, and they just played a big piece, a vital piece in my life, I would say. So that's what it was. It was kind of like a full circle moment. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked how he shouted us out, man. That was a beautiful speech that he gave. My aunties was in the building.
Yeah.
Talk about Jaleesa was in the building. Amber came. Talk about what it means to you to have those supporters in the building for you at such a pivotal moment in your writing career.
It's definitely important, especially like the Jaleesas, the Sierras, the Ambers, like stuff like that is important because they know. Like, especially Jaleesa and Sierra, like, we've been locked in since we were kids. That's not to take away from Amber, but Amber came into my life at, like, when I was an adult. But, like, Jaleesa and Sierra been in my life. And Depria, I don't know how to forget about Depria.
Forgot about Dro, too.
Yeah. These people were, like, they watched me. Depria is my cousin, but I grew up calling her my sister, so it doesn't even feel right saying like that's my cousin. Like I still have to check myself, like, no, that's my sister. But it's definitely important because they've known you, they know what you've been through, they know the experiences, they've watched you grow. So stuff like that is extremely important. And then Amber, just the fact that she would be willing to drive out to Mansfield to make sure, okay, I'm going to make sure I be at this second book signing as well. And I think it was a highlighting moment for her when we were talking, and she was just talking about how, like, you could see, like, the community. So it gave her a chance to understand me a little bit better.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you grew up around these people. Like, I can see where, certain opinions or certain characteristics of yourself, I can see, like, how that came about. So it's definitely important.
Yeah, that's good to know. I'm glad you said that because that's something that I always think about. We always talk about it in my IT group. Like the one thing that we got in common, like, so we got an IT group and the main members is like 6 of us. And we always talk about the one thing that we got in common is we all from Mansfield.
Yeah.
And being from Mansfield breeds tough people. Just from my perspective and just the community aspect, who we grow up around. As an outsider looking in, you don't know that until you actually get a chance to see that. So, and I'm not sure if you want to talk about this yet. You ain't got to go deep into it, but I know that they asked you a question about the next book. You got any timeline? You gonna get the people some updates on the next book? Okay, we got.
I don't have a timeline, but I am working on another project. This one is kind of near and dear to all of them are. I really can't say this one is near and dear to my heart. They all are. But this is just me, walking in purpose, walking in obedience. So I don't have a timeline, but I am actively working on a new project.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Give her a round of applause. That's my baby. She is back again, loving everything. So much success on this book. This book has been truly
Yeah.
inspiring to watch us progress from the first one to the second one, especially with your writing style, and then like you giving speeches and all of that stuff is very fun to watch, you know. And yeah, I like what you're doing there, boo. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up.
So how do you feel watching it? Like I always wonder, like what he back there thinking.
I just try to be. I try to think about the business aspect of it as much as possible. I try to take myself completely out of the being a part of it, other than setting it up, shooting it, and you know, I try to be like you always call me your manager. You know what I'm saying? I try to be your manager, you know, and I just try to be like your bodyguard, your manager, your, you know what I'm saying, your assistant if you need me to be. So that's kind of what I see it as. But it's definitely fun to watch when I get a chance to look at it. It's fun to watch, and I like to see you in that flow state, you know. So, you ready to get into some more questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I actually brought this up in my men's group yesterday. So, there's a chapter in the Bible, 1 Timothy 3, 4, and 5. He must manage his own household well with all dignity, keeping his children submissive. For if someone does not know how to manage his own household, how will he care for God's church? I think when I look at Pastor Jeff and I see him and his children, you know, the way that they have matured over the years, you know, good, outstanding citizens. And
Yeah.
he's a good steward of the faith and a good example for young people coming up to watch. So the question is, how important is it to have mentors like Pastor Jeff who don't just preach leadership, but actually live it out in their household and church?
I mean, it's extremely important. Of course, you want to. It's easy for somebody to tell you to do to go about things the right way, and then they're not living it. Like that's easy. I think it's tough to actually you living this thing out too. So it's definitely important because you don't want to feel alone in this walk. And so like to have a person there, like that's a representation of no, I know what you're going through, or I've been there. I'm still, you know, doing it. And so I think it's very important. Yeah.
I think the same thing. We talked about that as well, as far as like just being an example for your children and for those around you, because I think everybody needs to see that example. So in that, I think one thing that I took out of that as well. So I think it's that's a very deep scripture. 'Cause I think it got multiple points in it because it says, for if someone does not know how to manage his own household, how will he care for God's church? And when I thought about that, I'm like, okay, God's church. What does God tell us to do? He tells us to love our wives like Christ loved the church. So it also, I think that also speaks to loving your wife, you know, taking care of yourself. How you going to lead your woman if you can't take care of yourself? And I also see Jeff's relationship with his wife and, you know, going forward with other men as well, and how I think that's important as far as like leadership wise. Okay.
I think you can take that role though as that's good that you compared it to marriage. I don't think people would typically compare it to that, so I think that's good. But I think that we can tie that into like the actual physical church as well, or just things that God. Was that the next question? I'm sorry. Did I jump
No.
in? Oh,
Wasn't
I was
that
gonna
question?
say, or things that God wants to call you into, but what He's already given you, you're not stewarding well with. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it speaks to that as well. How do you expect for more, or how do you expect to do more for the sake of God when you are mismanaging what you have?
Yeah.
So I look at it that way too. That's a good scripture.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one for sure. So that also goes to this, because there's another, we talked about God's church. What else what do we say about God's church? God says, destroy this temple and I'm going to build it in 3 days. When we talk about the church, we're also talking about your body.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I can't take care of my own body, how I'm going to be able to,
Yeah.
But that also leads to go a little bit deeper than that even. So there's another scripture, 1 Peter 2:11, where he says, sinful desires wage war against your soul. How do you fight that battle every day in a culture that's constantly tempting you, and also not just tempting you like lust wise, but also tempting you like expectations wise? Like I see a lot of like men, like you see these dudes on here, they chiseled. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I'm trying to get chiseled.
Yeah.
You feel me? And a lot of women, you see women, they got surgery or whatever done. So how do we protect our temples in a era where the temple has got these idols all around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I would say just building really building, being locked in with God for one. Like I literally just went through a journey of like giving God 40 days of really considering what I'm putting into my body. And we don't realize that God needs our physical body, right? If you take it back to Genesis, it said he made us in his likeness, right? So we're spirit, and he needs the physical body to host the spirit.
Yeah.
And so it's like he needs the body,
Yeah.
and he can't do what he's trying to do if we are destroying the temple.
Yeah.
Essentially, like if we're destroying the temple. And if you study like Samuel, like one thing I've been really just diving deep into is just, Samuel, the way he built the temple, he was very strategic. He didn't just go out and find any and everybody, but he was very strategic on who he brought along with that to build it. What he put in it, the rooms, this is the most holy, only this person have access here, and if you take that and compare it to the temple, it's like, God tells you that the temple, that the Holy Spirit is rest within.
Yeah.
He desires to be there continuously, and it's like the Holy Spirit is holy, right? So what are you putting into your body? And I really went through a thing. I actually started crying. I wrote out in my journal, like, I can't think of a time that I ever called out to God and considered anything and considered him about anything with my body. And like that, yeah, I felt convicted. Like, dang, even if it's something simple, but it's just like, wow, I never ever said, well, God, what do you think?
Yeah.
I just run around like, oh, this is my body. I do what I want to do. So I'm sorry, I went somewhere else with it, but
No, that's
but
what I was talking about. So this just kind of speaks to, and I also been doing, kind of trying to get on my health kick as well, just to getting that right, because that's so important. We want to live long. We want to honor God with our bodies, for sure. So this goes with that question. So Jesus called us to the narrow road, which is hard and uncomfortable. So why are we so scared to take the hard path when that's exactly what he told us to expect? It's like getting healthy, that's the hard path, you know what I'm saying? We talked about bodies and all that type of stuff, being yourself and not trying to fit in. When Jeff talked about being himself and not trying to fit in, that's the hard path, You could easily go a degenerate route, and more people, you have more eyes on you by just doing degenerate stuff, you know what I'm saying, that people want to see. But we see children who they're scared to go out and leave the nest, you know what I'm saying? They're scared to go out and chase their dreams. They want to be comfortable. We always want to be comfortable so much. Why do you think it's so hard to take that path that the Lord wants us to take?
Because you said we want to be comfortable. And it's very interesting because I think I was talking to you about this. When I hear that it's going to be hard, right? And this is just my perspective, so I'm not sure if I have a correct answer for this, but this is just from my point of view. So when God speaks of it being hard for me, what makes it hard is I have to turn the other cheek. I'll just be very honest right now.
Okay.
That is what makes the journey hard for me, is because I have to turn the other cheek, or I'm just not in the mood to pray right now, or I don't want to read my word, or I just want to sit here and I don't want to do anything, or I really want to cuss you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what makes it hard for me.
Yeah.
Now, if we're talking about like, if you're just talking about health wise, I think, are you comparing it to like health wise?
Anything that's worth having is hard.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So it's gonna take, and it'll take time, and you realize you'll start to understand that the longer it takes, the more you'll appreciate it. Because if you get it quick, you don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
I've been there several times where I got something and it's just like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
like, so that's how I look at it when I think of what's hard. But I do feel like things take time, and we could take it back to scripture, like Samuel building the temple. And then when the temple was destroyed, when he rebuilt the temple, it took 40 years or so. Like, it takes time.
It takes time.
And we have to understand that, like, just because society is, waving this in our face, that doesn't mean that that's real.
Yeah.
Satan could show you something that looks good. Or what they
Exactly.
say, the old people say, everything that glitter ain't gold. And that's the reality of it. Just because
Yeah.
it looks good, that doesn't mean that it's good. So it's hard. It's hard, and especially in this world, in this day and age that we're in now, because everything is trendy. And you kind of sort of have to be like that, or else, you'll be disowned, so to speak. Or you're not, or you're lame, or you're not where you're supposed to be because you don't have X, Y, and Z, So,
Yeah, I think Var said on the call last night, he said, the devil know what kind of cake you like. Mm-hmm. He know you like chocolate cake. You know what I'm saying? He know you like vanilla cake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He knows how to play with your desires and put the
Yeah.
things in front of you that he know you like. He
Yeah.
know you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like they say that the devil know the word. The way
Yeah.
when Jesus was talking to the devil was quoting scripture, you know?
Yep.
But I know Bash had posted something the other day. It was pretty powerful. Where he said you never want to categorize something as easy or hard. Mm-hmm. So you want to categorize it as either familiar or unfamiliar. And I feel like that's important, because when we say things are hard, like something that's hard to you may be easy to me, and something that's easy to me may be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it depends. It's perspective.
Yeah.
Everything is perspective. So that's one thing. But I feel like in this world, you don't get what you want without taking the hard road. You got to take the road less traveled. You can't be afraid to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? And Jeff gave us a great speech on being yourself when we were at the church. So
yeah, and he said that resonated with me. You don't understand it until you start going through some stuff, then you understand it. But when he said it's easier for you to not fit in than to fit in, and that will probably go over heads.
Yeah.
But when I think about like everything that I've been through, it's easier for me to just be Ty. Mm-hmm. There's been so many situations. I think I've spoken this before. Like, I have never been a follower, and any time I found myself in a situation where it was like, oh, well, I want to be, with the in crew, or I want to fit in, I always find myself just lost and stuck.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's easier if I'm just chilling and I'm just Ty. Like, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
And we don't understand that, but that's really, it's easier for you not to fit in and to just be yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to fit in, and you're trying to force yourself into something else, and that's constant pretending. Like, that's tiring.
Yeah.
That I have to continue to pretend like I like this, or I have to continue to pretend to do X, Y, and Z, and this is really not even me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there before. It's just like Jesus had many disciples, before he was left with 12. You know, Jesus ain't gonna chase the other disciples down and say, "Hey, what y'all going?" Man, he ain't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you gotta, you gotta always be yourself in every situation. So we're gonna change gears a little bit here. Why do we compare ourselves to other people instead of measuring ourselves against God's standard?
Dang.
I'm gonna give you, and I'm gonna tell you why I asked this question.
You did shift it, huh?
I did. We got 3 different topics, but this is topic number 2. So
Why?
the reason why I said that is because you see a lot of people. I think that people always want to. People are always in competition. You know what I'm saying? And no matter how much, like, let's say I got $5 and you got $3. I might gloat about me having $2 more than you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't. We always think of it in a way where we trying to be the best compared to somebody else.
Yeah.
But we never hold ourselves to the standard that God has for us. You know what I'm saying? Remember we just talked about not following your dreams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get comfortable just because you feel like you're okay.
Yeah.
But we're not willing to go above and beyond our own standards because we're okay as long as I'm doing better than somebody
so-and-so.
else.
Yeah. That's good. I actually went through a period of, I don't know, the deeper I get into my relationship with God, the more I just realize I think I've said this to you before a few months back. It's like you talk about a God who's all knowing. You talk about a powerful force who knows everything, who tells you I could give you more than what you can even imagine. You know what I'm saying? If you just look at those words, right? If you take heed to those words, on this earth, I'm never going to get anything else within my own will, right? Or with whatever the world comes with. I'm never going to get anything else. But I have a God who says, I could give you more than that, more than whatever your wildest imagination is. I'm the God that can give you more than that. So why not? Does that make sense what I'm saying? So why not? So I started, I take that scripture literal. That's how I feel. I understand this. I ain't gonna get no more than this without him.
Yeah.
I won't get no more than this. And I don't have time to truly compare myself to anybody because I'm connected to the source. And he said he could give me this. So I ain't even really tripping about what you got going on. I know he told me that he could do. And you might want to come on over here and come this way. But yeah, so I think it's human nature though. I think it's just human nature in us in society. And I think that that's an attack of the enemy as well.
I think Jesus is a good example of that because he made himself the least. You know what I'm saying? That's a great example. Like in society, instead of people always trying to be better than one another, I feel like we have to get out of that mindset as far as wanting to be better than everybody else. Yeah. Because that doesn't make you no better.
It doesn't.
Anybody else. You having more money than somebody doesn't make you better than somebody else. That's just not how it is. And I feel like Jesus was a great example of that. We're here to serve. You know, the Almighty God could have had. You know what I'm saying? Could have sat on the throne on earth and said, "No, I'm gonna be out here with the people that need help. I'm gonna make myself a part of that community." You know what I'm saying? I'm called to help those in need. And I feel like we are too comfortable, especially in this, and this is my biggest gripe right here. We think that when we compare ourselves to people, we don't compare ourselves to everybody. Like, let's say I'm doing something, I'm good at it. I'm gonna compare myself to somebody that I know I'm better than, but there's probably somebody in that same field as me doing the same thing that's probably better
That's
than me.
probably
You know what I'm saying? I don't strive to be the best at it.
Yeah.
I strive to be better than you.
Yeah. That's it.
And that keeps you. That's a ceiling. You put a ceiling
Yeah.
on yourself when you think like that, and people do that as long as they can.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
I think that's dangerous. That's where envy come in, and then if you don't get it together, you're gonna be jealous, and then it turns into other things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's
Definitely.
a dangerous place to be.
Okay. And that's where the transformation happens. I feel like when you're uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It don't happen. That's how mountains are created. Mountains are created from friction. You know what I'm saying? Plates crashing into plates.
yeah.
Iron sharpen iron. You know what I'm saying? So you was about to say something before.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say like you just said that, and that's funny that I write about that in one of my chapters. That I believe that it's when you're most uncomfortable that God is working. He is doing something
Yeah.
because He's pushing you outside of that comfort zone. You're going elsewhere, and that's how I'm always like, okay, God, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? But yeah, I talk about that in one of the chapters in my book. I was gonna say one of the chapters in my Bible.
Okay. And so this is another question on that same aspect, and I think we talked about this a little bit. When everyone's competing with each other, how can we ever come together and raise our children and actually change the world?
We can't.
Paul described it, and we talked about this too, when we talk about the body. You know what I'm saying? The body need all parts to function. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? One person is the hand, one person the arm, one person's the leg, one person's the heart. You know, the lungs. You need all of that to
For it to move.
Yeah.
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 I think who was it? Moses? Yeah. What happened with Moses when I believe they were wandering at this point, but there is a story where they actually fight, like family against family. They begin to war and kill one another because you got people who saying I'm gonna go the God way, and then you have other people saying no, I'm gonna go this way. And I think God is showing us very clearly that, or at least this is how I feel. If even in this time when we're talking about Moses, that Moses could not get everybody on the same.
Yeah.
God could not get everybody on the same,
Yeah.
train, if you will. He couldn't get everybody together, and I think he made that very clear. Like, and so in this world, it's gonna be the same thing, and so I think that we have to. And I get wanting to take everybody with you, right? I
Yeah.
understand that part, but the unfortunate part, reality is everybody is just not gonna go with you, period. And so I think that we have to do a better job at focusing on the ones who are willing, who wants to
Yeah.
go. Then that's where that community comes in, and the moving parts that you were talking about, the body, we're one. That's where all of that comes in. But you can't have that if everyone is feuding. Like if the lungs and the kidneys is fighting each other, the body is not gonna body.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work.
If you got a Judas as part of the body, you know what I'm saying? You might need a transplant. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, that's how I think about that. I think we have to focus more on who wants that
Oh yeah.
versus who doesn't.
Definitely. Okay. So good. That's a good one. So now we're gonna get into a little bit more relationship stuff here.
Okay.
All right. So recently, I don't know if you've seen it yet. You see Leslie Jones? You know who that is? She a comedian. Anyways.
Oh, Leslie, yeah.
Yeah. She made a comment
Okay.
where she compared marriage to slavery.
Oh no, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. She said marriage is like slavery.
Did she elaborate?
Not really. She basically was just saying that she said it's legalized slavery. She said most of the people I know who got married are now divorced. She also told young women, don't get married. She said traditional wives might as well have a whip and a chain. She also said her father told her, I didn't raise you to be somebody's wife. Leslie has never been married, but she's telling women not to get married because everyone she knows got divorced. Is that truth or is that bias from her own disappointment? What do you think?
I'm gonna say two things can be true at the same time.
Okay.
Because that's her perspective and that's her experience. And I feel like anytime that you have a father tell you, I didn't raise you to be anybody's wife, you probably don't look at marriage the way that you should.
Yeah.
That's kind of harsh. I can't imagine my dad saying that to me. Or I just can't imagine dads telling their daughters that.
Me neither.
Like, that's wild to
Maybe
me.
she misinterpreted what he said.
Yeah, I don't know. And then it could depend on, because she said traditional wives. So maybe we would need a little bit more context on what she means. Because, when they say traditional wives, they mean like, I always hear the husband is away working. The mom has to take care of all the kids, cook, clean. The husband is cheating a lot of times. He's mistreating her a lot of times. He come home, he doesn't help. So when I hear traditional, I think that is what women are talking about, but I could be wrong.
Really?
I'm serious. Yeah, I've heard people. Yeah, I've heard a lot of women say like, "Oh, that's a traditional role," or "That's traditional tradition." You just want the wife to do everything. And I think that that's why she is saying slavery. That's why she's comparing the slavery type thing. I just feel like you have to be in a setting to truly understand. And then what is your belief system? Like, I think that plays a huge role.
Absolutely. I think that's number one. We talked about this
Yeah.
before on the episode. Marriage is very close to being a believer.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
times people who don't believe are the ones that usually don't believe in marriage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we just talked about that on a recent episode. I think it's based on her own experience. I don't feel like her dad said that to her. I feel like she misinterpreted what he said. If he said something similar to
How
that,
you gonna tell her what her dad said?
I just don't. He might have said something like that, but it was probably on the side of don't let yourself be played or don't let no man take advantage of you type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
He might have said that, and if he did, then I'm saying that's different. But I feel like she probably misinterpreted what he said. But I mean, if he did say that, then I mean, there's a reason why she is in marriage, and marriage isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So that's what it is. But as far as you coming out and giving advice from a
Yeah.
place of I've never been married and saying, don't nobody get married, young women, that's
Yeah.
not your place.
Yeah. Remember, I think we did an episode on how we talked about, I think we spoke on words and what we say to people. And I'm just thinking like her dad saying that to her just probably like crushed her. And so now it just makes it okay for her to go on and say, yeah, even my own dad said. And so you guys shouldn't do it.
Yeah. We do not know your dad.
So that sucks for
Yeah.
someone's dad to say that. That's crazy. But
It is.
slavery is wild.
That's wild. How did that happen? Anyways, so, all right, so we got another celebrity here, Shaka Khan. That my boo. Shaka Khan said the ones doing the most physicalities, their butts and stuff, are compensating for what they don't have. She criticized women for showing their bodies instead of focusing on talent, and she said, keep it classy. Well, she said she kept it classy. Men who are attracted to you because you're showing your body usually don't respect you. If the men are attracted, I'm sorry, if the men attracted to you are only there because you're showing your body, are those really the type of men you want to marry?
I say yes and no.
Oh, okay.
So hear me out. Hear me
Go
out.
ahead.
The reason why I say yes and no is because we've moved so far away from certain standards.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I think I shouldn't say standards. We've moved so far away from just different times.
Okay.
So what one standard may be, it another person don't look at it like that. However, because that's very rare that you'll get a guy who is okay with the woman out showing her body. I truly believe that that's rare. We do not see that often. You see it sometimes, but it's not like that's not an all the time thing. All the married women that I know, they not outside looking crazy. It's your face for me. I'm just saying the ones that I know personally, they're not outside looking crazy.
Okay.
That's just how I feel. And then I think even for women who aren't married, like I think about my mom. My mom don't go outside. I've never ever seen her in that way of just like showing herself, off. I just never seen that. However, I guess what I'm trying to say is different strokes for different folks.
Okay.
But I will say that there is truth to he don't respect you. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give y'all a story. The reason why I know he don't respect you is because why do you feel comfortable coming up to me, groping and grabbing on me? That is disrespectful because of what I have on. I do understand because of the world and the society. I know people are going to probably attack me in the comments. I still love you. The world that we live in and society right now that we live in, we okay it. Unfortunately, a lot of women okay that.
Yeah.
Like, you can come up on me and grope my butt and rub all on me. I want you to do that, right? And then you have some females who are like, no, I don't want you to do that.
Yeah.
And I can remember a situation where that happened to me, and I literally was barely, I had clothes on. I had on like a crop top. And somebody grabbed my butt and I turned around and smacked him. And his exact words to me was, I thought you liked it. Like, that's what you and your little crew, like, that's what y'all be. That's where that whole saying, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
That's true and that's not true. But that is true, but that's not true. If that makes sense.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but you're saying from a position of being in that group, from a perspective of somebody that is looking from the outside in. Birds of a feather do flock together, and I can't tell the difference between y'all.
And my point exactly. So this is what the young man was explaining to me after I smacked him across his face.
Yeah.
He did apologize, and we had a whole conversation about it. And that was one of his, like, listen, like, your crew your crew be coming in here like this, and then the type of women that come in here like this is how they are. So, but we had a whole conversation about that. He did apologize. But that's when I realized I had to be honest with myself. Like, okay, Ty, well, why are you dressing like this? You want to be seen.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You absolutely want to be seen. You put this on.
Yeah.
Before you put this on, you was like, I'm gonna look good tonight. Let me put this on.
Exactly.
So I think yes and no. If that makes sense.
So you're saying men can respect women that are dressed like that in some situations? I think
in some situations, yes. I've had guys who has approached me and questioned why I'm in the attire that I'm in. Like, why what you doing with that on?
Yeah.
I've had that as well. So
yeah, I
mean, you a man. How you feel about it?
From a man's perspective, I think it does matter about how you carry yourself. And just because, let's make this clear. This is my daddy house. Let's make this clear first. I get that a woman might be dressed in a way to where you don't never assume nothing about no woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Especially as far as putting your hands on a woman. You don't do that, period.
Yep.
First of all.
Absolutely.
But from the perspective of a man, I mean, I think for me as a man, it's not a turn off. And I think that's the hardest thing. Because how do I explain to the people that I love, the women that I love, my daughters, the women in my life, that you should dress conservatively. You should dress like Claire Huxtable, and you know what I'm saying? And in my mind, when I see a woman that's dressed, provocatively, it is sometimes a turn on. You know what I'm saying? It is something that is sought after.
Yeah.
So that's a tough place to walk for women, in my opinion. But I always say that if I'm in the club or somewhere like that where women are dressed that way, I'm probably not looking for my wife.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but you never know.
Yeah.
My wife mimight be in there.
That's what I'm saying. It's very rare. Like in those kind of situations, it'll be rare. But
yeah. But I understand where she was coming from as far as because it goes further than just the dress. The way you carry yourself is more important, I feel like.
yes.
What Shaka's talking about is these women not having talent. They get on stage and they just shake it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Singers who ain't singing.
Yeah.
They on stage doing handstands and, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And that's what she was saying. And the way you carry yourself is more important than how you dress. And I have no problem with women dressing sexy. However, I don't know. That's a good one right there. That's a very good question because I feel like it's case to case.
Yeah.
It's case to case. If you are a respectful woman, and you just happen to have this outfit that this is what I want to wear tonight, you know what I'm saying? I think that the man that does find you will be able to judge you off of that personality more
so than
what you wearing.
And those.
But sometimes that's not gonna happen, and you need to be okay with that.
Yeah, you made a valid point when you said I'm probably not looking for my wife in a club like that. And I believe like some of the guys that I've had encounters with when I was in the world like that they were just kind of taken back. Like, what you doing here?
Yeah.
What you doing here?
Yeah. Because every girl in here is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's how it is. And you need to watch the company you keep. Watch where you go. Guard your heart. Guard your mind, because you will get wrapped up in bad situations. And just like, I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off,
No,
but men, especially men and women, but men, it tell us in the Bible to flee from lust. So don't think you ever strong enough to get into no situation with no woman where you just, I'm good. I'm just about to go. I'm gonna just go to the strip club and I ain't gonna want to cheat.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, that don't work like that.
Yeah.
You are what you eat in most situations. But go ahead, boo.
No, that's all I had to say.
Okay. All right. That was a long one. Okay, I think we kind of hit on a lot of these questions as we was going through that. Okay. And this is going to speak to the other side. For women who are modest and don't show their bodies, do you feel like you're losing? And how do we remember that what gets likes isn't the same as what gets kept and cherished?
So when you are the women that are modest, that's a good question. You're losing exactly what you need to lose. You're losing exactly what you need to lose.
Yep.
You don't have to. That way, you're not confused.
There's no confusion.
I don't have to wonder if he is this, that, and the third. You're losing exactly what you need to lose. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you don't go into KFC and ask for the vegan dish.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's that's going to the club and wanting you the conservative
Yeah,
good
yeah,
woman. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You went to KFC and you wanted a salmon wrap.
Yeah.
It ain't in there.
Yeah.
But like you said, it makes it a lot easier for a conservative woman. It's not going to find, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then on both sides, you're going to find exactly what you're looking for when you are, and you never losing. Like I said, the conservative women are always going to be winning. I just don't want to make it seem like the way you dress defines you. 100%. But it does. It says a lot about you. It does speak to your character. And the women that are more conservative, I think their percentage is going to be higher. Like their efficiency going to be through the roof.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because the women that are out there showing their body, they're trying to get a man off their bodies. They might go 1 for 10 from the field. Okay, because I don't know. Let's move on from that. Okay. So we talked about both sides of both of those situations as far as like Leslie Jones and Leslie Jones and Shaka Khan. Do you feel like it's harmful to marriage as an institution when women that have a microphone, like, 'cause it's not just Leslie Jones, it's a lot of celebrity women who are unmarried and who speak against marriage. Do you feel like that's harmful, or do you feel like women who are of the faith aren't going to be persuaded by what's going on in the world from their perspectives?
I think women of the faith, I think it'll be harder for them to be persuaded, of course, but I do feel like it's harmful. Because I feel like, let's think about it like right now, that I think that people like that are uber fixated on what's trending right now. And so you got men and women hating each other
Yeah,
like crazy. Like, it's actually disgusting. It just keeps getting worse and worse.
it does.
Like, you got that going on, and then you got the whole married thing going on. It's not a coincidence to me. It's like you are playing with these people who are seeking answers, who may be lost. And so I think it's harmful. I think more married couples need to come out and, speak against, more Christians, I believe, come out and speak against. But I do think it's harmful.
I do too. I think one of the biggest things we have, and this is why it's a blessing for the generations to be split. Because the way that, you know how it is, like generation, I forgot what it is, Z, like Gen Zers. They ain't. I was at a camp the other day. I was at a camp a couple weeks ago, and this dad came up to us and shook our hands. I work with this young kid. He in college. He a Gen Zer. He shake our hands, and the dad walk away, and the young kid walk up to me, was like, yo, dude just literally dapped us up. What a millennial. I was like, I ain't know whether to be offended, you know what I'm saying, or what. But it's a blessing that we have those differences, because a lot of times they won't listen to us on those type of topics. If you look at a lot of like TikTok, a lot of these young people in relationships. There's a lot of God talk. These young people, and that's a blessing that this generation is able to move differently.
Yeah,
it's the same way we saw our parents. There were things that we saw like that ain't right. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna move in a different way.
Yeah.
So that's a blessing. So while it is harmful that you out here spewing that, I think it's more harmful to people in your demographic and people that are, you know what I'm saying, in that generation, probably just under you, that know you. The Gen Zers don't know who Leslie Jones is. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think that in the grand scheme of things, it's important for us to have our differences. And that's why I think.
Yeah, so you don't be totally against it. I think it's harmful because to me, you are playing on these people who are seeking it.
That's what it is.
And that's an issue for me.
Yeah.
Just because you say no, that doesn't mean that you then say no for everybody.
Yeah.
Especially for the people who are seeking it or who desire it. That is extremely harmful
Yeah.
to those individuals. So that's what I don't respect about it. We all can have an opinion, right? But
Yeah.
you know these people are seeking it.
Yeah. That's exactly why she said it. It's propaganda.
Yeah, and then you out here like, nope, don't do it. It's slavery. And you ain't never been married.
Exactly.
And who's listening to that? Like, that sounds crazy to me. You're talking about a woman who said her dad said. That's a whole issue for me. That's a whole another topic that I would ask. I would probably ask her more questions. What you mean your dad said that to you? Why? Well, how was your house when you grew up? That I would ask them kind of questions, you know. Mm-hmm. But people don't think like that. That's how I think. Like, what father tells his daughter that?
And I know this gonna sound a little bit harsh, but
I'm scared. What you about to
I
say?
don't want to go too far with it. But anyways, what I really want to say is that if it's not happening for like she says that for the people who it's not happening for, you know what I'm saying? For them to be like, for them to agree with her, yeah, she right. I think she right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. She also says it in a way that fear mongers the people that might be considering it to maybe back off and maybe have some second thoughts, you know? And I think that's the same thing that's going on with like AI, you know what I'm saying? It's like AI on one side, it's like, there's people that's like, yeah, AI, and there's other people where it's like a doom and gloom type of thing, you know? So, but Leslie Jones, I just feel like, that's how people are in general. People, if it's not happening for me, it can't happen for you. You know what I'm saying? How many OGs, like I told you all the time, the older men in our communities, it's all doom and gloom. Don't do this. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just all about bias. You can't see it. You can't see it happen. I remember Jay-Z told a story where he said his uncle was like, you'll never get fame. You know what I'm saying? It'll never happen for you. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, but if you believe them, then it can't happen. Same with Leslie Jones. If you listen to Leslie Jones and you like, she right, then she is right.
Yeah.
But if you look at it like, that's you, then...
Yeah.
And that's the way everybody should look at everything. You take things with a grain of salt. You test it against that spirit.
Yeah.
Throw it against that book.
Yeah. That's what you do, for sure.
But that's it. That's all I got, boo.
That's it.
That's it.
You sure?
That's it.
Don't end this and then you ask me another question.
I ain't got nothing else. I ain't got no more questions. That was the last question.
Okay.
But get the book Tripping for God out now. HopeFieldRadio.com/books. I got some merch coming on the way as well. Some new merch that's going to be on the website here soon. Bunch of projects on the way. Our marriage boot camp is also on the site. Please sign up. We need people to be interested in it a little bit more, but we're working on something, trying to configure something for people that are looking to get married and people that are already married so that we can take you through what we've learned during our time of being married. And also we want to build a community of married people so that we can come together, pray together, read together, do business together, you know what I'm saying? Eat together, you know, whatever. Enjoy each other. So reach out to us, leave comments, hit us up. Again, HopeFieldRadio.com. We're going to be everywhere this summer. So you be ready. I'm about to put her to work, y'all. I'm her manager. I'm putting her to work on this book. But until next time,
goodbye.
like Pam say, I'll holla.